Hi everyone, this is another one of my beginners series. I'm using a postcard. These are the Sea White postcards. I'll pop a link in the description. I'm also using a pan set, which is a Cotman pan set, just a standard set. So I've got what colours I've got and I make them work. So I'm going to go a nighttime snowy scene. I'm going to do a diagonal with the water. This is round number 10. We're going to get a sky in. This would make an excellent Christmas card design. Now, if you have Prussian blue in your set, that is a brilliant colour to be using for this, or an indigo. I don't have either of those in this set, so I am now using ultramarine blue. It will do the job. When you start off, you don't have endless amounts of colours, and you need to get used to what you've got. So it's all about working with what you have. If I wanted to make this darker, then my options are to take in a little bit of alizarin crimson. That gives a purpley darkness. As you can see, I'm taking a dab in now. I'm mixing it through. Gives a different tone. Or a little bit of some brown, like a burnt umber, and that's going to make it more grey. So there are ways and means for you to change this anyway. What I've got is some normal table salt. I'm going to sprinkle some into my hand, and I'm going to lightly sprinkle it on that wet paper. And what the salt's going to do is absorb the paint, and it's going to give us a snowy effect. Now, depending on the wetness of your paper, sometimes you get bigger snowflakes. Sometimes it's too wet and you don't get any snowflakes. So it's all about just having a little go and see what happens. So we're not liberally sprinkling. I don't want massive clumps. I want a nice little pinch flecked over. And then you need to let that dry naturally. You can't blow dry that with the hairdryer. You've got to let it subtly dry and pull the paint out. I'm going to pop a little bit of shadow into this snow now, because it's white, but it's not totally white when it's night time. You get the colours from the sky. So we're going to get a little bit of a reflection. Now I'm leaving about 1/2 centimetre gap. So I'm popping some water on the bottom. I'm going to load my brush up really well, dip into the ultramarine blue. I want this to be watery. So I'm going to just spread that around. I'm going to dip into the alizarin crimson and spread that around. So I'm working fairly quickly. And I'm going to get a bit of kitchen towel and just dab it off a little bit. You're not going to dab it off everywhere, you just want that snowy effect. So nice and easy. Okay, so that's looking lovely. It's dried off really nicely, and I'll just rub the salt off. You want to make sure you get all of that salt off. What I'm going to do now, take a little bit of the ultramarine blue and a little bit of the burnt umber, and I'm going to make a dark grey brown. I'm using my round number 6. I'm going to pop, I'm going to do the dry brushing first. I'm going to hold my brush flat. I'm going to catch the surface of the paper. So I'm just catching the surface. We're going to pop in a little tree here. Can you see how I'm arching? I'm arching around so that I get a nice effect for a tree. And I can bring in some branches. I can do this all with around number 6 because it's got a really good point. But if you're struggling, you can go down to a smaller brush. It's quite nice if you can hit it when it's wet, because these bits then blend in together. You get it nicely connected. With a tree trunk, it needs to be thicker as it comes towards the bottom, and the branches need to get thinner as they're going up. If you alternate them coming off the trunk, it always looks more natural. We'll go this way as well. You can have a few little wispy bits at the bottom. It's just a really effective, easy way to create a tree. It does take some practice though. I'm just taking a little bit more of that dry blushing in. If I rinse my brush really well and just wet it, I can then just touch the bottom, and this will soften into the snow and become part of the surface. And then I want a shadow from that tree onto the snow, a harder shadow. I'm just thinking I could pop in a little silhouette of a person as well. So this is quite a useful one for you to know. So you're starting with a dot, which is the head, and then you're going to do some shoulders and a wiggle, and then you're going to wiggle, and you're going to get smaller. It's a bit like a carrot. You're getting a carrot shape, and then that can become a person. You can bring a couple of arms down if you want. You can bring an indication of another leg if you want as well. Then you're just going to again wet the bottom of the feet so that they come within the snow. So it's nice and simple. The shadow colour for the snow you want to make with some watery purple. So it's the same colours that we've used in the sky. So I'm just going to pick up a little bit of each and a lot of water into there. Then it's just choosing a direction and running with it. So you've got that direction of shadow. I'm just dabbing in what could be a tree shadow. It all helps to ground your person and tree. Just take up a little bit up right the way up, just because it's a little bit damp still. At that point again, get your kitchen towel and just dab through it so it breaks that shadow up. It's really, really effective. And there we are, that's all done for you. I've taken the tape off so you can see the border. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please like, subscribe and share, and I'll pop you another tutorial just here if you want to have a look at another one. See you next time.